Welcome, my beautiful Aquariuses, to your February 2026 tarot reading. Aquarius, before we begin, before we even pull a card, I need to say this. February 2026, and this is when I was just sitting with your energy. It's not a normal month for you. Something that you've been like waiting on, and I feel quietly like something you almost stop believing in. I feel like it begins to move now. It's almost like the hangman has been reversed, like go time. So I feel like February is going to activate something like deeper than even celebration. It's like a shift in your identity, like your path, in the way that others see you. And by the way, I feel like it begins now, like now. So let's go to the tarot cards and to our spirit guides, and let's get into your reading. Um, so what I'm going to do this month is I'm actually going to do a spread. I'm going to do the Celtic Cross, and I'm going to use the Crystal Vision, and this deck will take us deeper. We will open the reading with Mother Mary for her beautiful words of wisdom. And the main spread will be the Universal Tarot. I just love the energy it's been producing. And, when I feel like a deck is like working overtime for us, I don't want to change it. So we're going to stick with it. And let's begin. So I'm going to bring the lid down. By the way, this is for Aquarius, all placements, those intuitively guided. I just feel like whatever brought you to the reading, however the reading found you or you found it, that's just divine to me. Like whoever's ears it may need to reach. Because remember, we read also through our guides who really are, when you think about it, your spirit guides, they're here to help you with your next step. But sometimes we shut that out. Interesting. I don't know why I'm saying that all of a sudden. Well, I mean, usually when I say things, it's because someone's thinking that. All right, speaking of, watched over. I allow myself to feel safe and enjoy my life, knowing that heaven is watching over my loved ones and me. Wow. It's like your spirit guides definitely wanted you to know what I was saying is true. Like every step of the way, we're there. I feel like all of a sudden I'm thinking of a song like call my name, like all you gotta do. No, call my name. I don't know. Somebody out there knows. Interesting. We have mother and then we have children. Huh. I almost feel for some of you. I feel like this is a very clear sign that a mother figure is watching over you, their child, and your children. And I feel for those who may have lost a child, especially if you're a mom. They're watching out for you. It's like they have your back. That's what I heard. Like, we have your back. Use us. Wow. It's funny. I'm not even reading the meaning because I feel like there's a spiritual meaning, but I will go ahead and read it. I open my heart to my mother's humanness and her divinity. Hmm. It's funny. My daughter and I had a discussion. We were talking um, the other night, and we were talking about regret. And you were just talking about her childhood, and I said, like, oh man, if I could go back, if I could only, and she's like, oh, like her perception and my perception, mine was of guilt, and hers was of, I guess, protection. I'm not sure. Um, but she said, because we talked a lot about this, and I said, how you don't have regret is to live in the present moment and make conscious decisions. And then there's nothing to regret. You know what I mean? But we're human. We're imperfect. That's how we were made, and those areas that, like I was feeling like, man, I'd give anything to go back and give my children the life they deserve instead of like some of my stupid choices, but I feel like there's many parents, and I know my dad felt that way. By the way, I forgive him often. Like, don't worry, Dad. It's okay. Anyway, boy, someone has a dad watching out for him. Interesting. I feel like also forgive where you can forgive. Forgive yourself. You're not I feel like there's nothing but love here. There's no judgment. It's just love. Oh, children. My heart is filled with love for children, which creates miracles and positive change for them and me. It's interesting. Not that I want to talk about myself again, but my daughter and I used to live, there was an apartment below the house that she lived in, and I lived in it. I forget what my point was. Oh, and I remember like the days, like, and then the grandkids will knock on the door and come in and just lift me right up. So for some of you, it's like literally being around children just lightens you up. All right. Wow. I feel like this is going to be a very spiritual reading. I feel like it's going to be deep, honest, telling, advising. I feel all of it. Love, money, issues, and maybe a way out. All right. Anyway, boy. All right. So there's different positions in this spread, and the first one is you. Or no, it is you, but it's current energy. What's happening right now, or what you need to know right now. And then what crosses it. So it can be a benefit, it can be advice, or it can tell you like the issue. And it's interesting because it really is the bridge, which you'll see between the past and the near future. And there's the bridge. So that's how I'm seeing it anyway. Okay, I got to keep going. I know I'm thinking this is going to be a long reading if I keep talking, but these things keep coming. All right, next is you. It's the subconscious mind. And that can also be your soul, your higher self, like reaching you in the subconscious mind, because maybe the conscious mind, and we'll see, because conscious mind will mirror this. Um, could be a lot going on or something. We can't quite get a hold of you, so we get a hold of you maybe through your dreams. Okay, here I go again. This is the past. Next is the conscious mind. So they're mirroring each other, just like the past and now the near future. They're mirroring each other, but this is the bridge. Now it is you, all about you. Next is the external influences or noise, whatever it may be. It can be a benefit. Um, it's outside of yourself. Let's just put it that way. Next is your hopes and your fears. And it can be one and the same as I say that. Like what I hope for, I also fear. Someone out there is feeling that. And then this is the final outcome. However, that final outcome can be changed. And I feel like that's why we're here today. Excuse me. All right, just let me get one more drink of coffee. And some do this spread with the cards up. I think it's just me, maybe, but I like the mystery of uncovering because that's what I feel like I do in a reading. I'm uncovering your soul story. Like these are soul to soul readings, really. And I would even title that, but YouTube wouldn't understand that. So nobody would get them, I think. Okay. Current energy. Look at that. The Hangman. Isn't that funny? Because when I was just kind of sitting with your energy, getting ready for your reading, pre-shuffling, it's kind of when I go quiet and I'm open. And I felt the energy of the Hangman. Wow. And don't forget what I said, that whatever the Hangman has been waiting for, I feel like is on the way. So let's talk about the Hangman for a second. It can be a pause, something it just may not have been the right time. The Hangman really is seeking like spiritual wisdom, but to use on this earthly plane. And something is telling me also the Hangman has to understand between true spiritual advice and lower energy advice, because you may get both. Interesting. It's almost like the angel on one shoulder, the devil on the other. Now, because I do feel like something is being activated, potentially, Hangman is having an awakening. And that means truth is truth, all is seen, right? Honesty is honesty, even if it's hard. But, as you are going through this process, what you think is hard right now, when you're in this state, it's really not. So, anyway, wow. Okay. And it's interesting because now the Hangman is bridging the subconscious mind to the conscious mind, where, oh, look at that, where the tower is bridging the past and the near future. It doesn't have to. Something happened. Or maybe you feel that. Interesting. For some of you, you may feel that, like, or you may have. Okay, so I feel it's more you felt that. And this may be the ending of feeling that way, if you so choose. Because again, your truth. And maybe just knowing that, like, your guides are helping you every step of the way. Some of you, it can be like some type of disaster and you're waiting for help. Interesting. The tower is really unexpected, but I have to say also that I feel for some of you, it's like I feel like, I shouldn't even say that. I'm not going to say it. Let's just say, hmm, I'm like, how do I say it without saying it? And what I want to say is symbolic, but I feel like I have to be careful. I don't know why. That's weird. So let's just say that it's like you're radioactive. I don't know how else to say this. And you may be, hmm, like not moving intuitively. And I almost feel like for some of you, there's like this protection over you. I have to say, for some of you, I feel like, listen, if you get, like, if you're leaving for work, let's say, and let's say you forgot your lunch and you made a great lunch that day. So you turn around, you go home, you get your lunch, you're now late, right? But now you drive to work and you see ahead of you is this terrible accident. Maybe multiple cars, and you would have been one of those cars. But because you turned around, that distraction was actually protection. Wow, I have goosebumps. It's like my spirit guides are right on, Sandy, right on. But I want you to understand that's just one circumstance. Like I feel this in like everything. All right, let's go down to the subconscious mind. So this is victory and success. You know, it's success. Not only that, you do have to be careful that because this can be the energy where others really seek you out, but they seek you out because of action steps you've taken. Like, how did you do it? Have a seat, my child, let me tell you. And you do have to be careful that the ego, because it is victory, but I feel like it is something learned. And I love that it's wands too, because in the subconscious mind, action, passion, wisdom, like every wand is an experience, something you've overcome, an adventure you've had. And some of you may be waiting for this, but here it is. It's interesting that he has a wreath right here. And I'm sure it's symbolic of something. But for some of you, that may mean something. Hmm. Six of Wands, when you see the wands, you see the new growth. Like, you can see, like, what do you call those? Like a plant before it's mature, I guess. Like inkling? That can't be right. Though, as I say that, something may have started as an inkling. So well, we have to go to the past. Look at this. It's like the avoidance. It is emotional clarity, and that's good news, even if it came hard. It's still good news because this is you putting like emotional situations, things that are outside your control, maybe things that turned into towers. And that may be what you're asking yourself. Is that going to happen again? Not in this energy, because this is you walking away from it. But you're walking away with clarity. And all these cups don't have to, they're love, but they don't have to all be romantic love. You know what I mean? It's just, first of all, it's like you sat with your emotions. You understood them maybe on a different level now. Because 8 is also the number of infinity, as above, so below. And the protection I'm feeling over you is almost like, I don't know. But this person's heading towards the 9 of Cups, and that is inner fulfillment and fulfillment of wishes. Something's happening here, or the subconscious wants something to happen. This probably had to happen first. And you know what I feel like? I feel like it helps me avoid future towers. I'm not dragging my past with me. I'm putting down that weight. How'd you do it? Let's go to the conscious mind. Look at that, the world. Completion. Completion. But guess what? That also means something new is beginning. And what's mirroring it is victory and success. Put this all together. Your emotional house cleared. Doesn't mean I'm over everything. Doesn't mean, it means that I'm not going to carry the weight. No more. I'm going to allow myself, my life, because it is my life. I'm going to have a fresh new beginning, wherever it may lead. Boy, does it feel like divine timing to me, and I got goosebumps again. Interesting. It almost feels like this black cloud that you've been feeling. And it may be for a long time. I feel like it's lifting, but it's because of you. And it lifts. And when that black cloud lifts, I almost feel like the sun needs to come out. Because I feel like what happens is all of a sudden, opportunities arise. You might meet someone along the way. You'll probably have this spiritual awakening. And there may be others who then seek you out. So for some of you, it may be a dream, but now it's becoming your reality if you allow it. But the world backs it up because the world is completion. And I really feel like for some of you, your spirit guides are just telling you, what you're doing through that 8 of Cups, clearing that emotional baggage, is you are avoiding future towers because you're living in the present moment. So the signs are clear and you're following them and you're finding success. Wow, let's go to the near future. Look at that. Look at that. Sorry. I get a little excited, but I feel like that's exactly what needed to come out. I think I even said that. Like the sun needs to come out. Here it is in your near future. That's your illuminator. All will be clear. Wow. It's the energy of feeling like a kid again. What a difference. I feel 90 here. I feel 10. I feel like I'm riding my bicycle, unencumbered. There's no cell phones, there's nothing. It's just me and my bike. Wow. For some of you, it can represent like a hometown, like with this eight, this new beginning. It may be moving. Sorry. I'm like, thank you. Thank you. Because that's exactly what I felt. The energy of the sun. Look at that. And what brought it out? Emotional clarity. Not letting others holding you back to hold you back. If it's like parents, maybe it's forgiveness. You know what I mean? Because it's emotional baggage, and that's of all kinds. Romance, someone didn't love you, the way that you deserved. But guess what? It's like the sun is shining for you now. The world, it's telling you, like, the past is the past. And baby, we're moving into the present and the near future. Wow. It's like everything will be clear. That black cloud is being replaced by the sun. All right, let's keep moving. You, look at that. Four swords, healing. That's kind of beautiful. For some of you, I feel like it's through this healing where you may have like these epiphanies. Could be of like, I could take all my experiences and I could write a book about it. But then you think, well, maybe I should. Maybe I do. And this tells you other people will seek you out. This could be any type of business. But I feel that like, and here's Mother Mary. What did Mother Mary send out? Watched over mother and child. There's four swords. Three of them are the ones that pierced our heart. There's one sword that we lie upon. It's actually upon us. We see it. This is our own truth. This is seeing things the way it really is, especially with the sun. This is healing the past. It's like giving yourself permission. But yeah, it's like, and it may say that it is during like these quiet times when you do hear us, and it is us. You may not believe that. And by the way, it's okay to ask, like, hey, was that a sign? But then again, the sun, it's going to make it clear. All right, external. Seven of Swords. I don't think so. I do not think so. This is untrustworthy energy. This can be, the name of the card or the meaning of the card is the Thief in the Night. You've got to be part of that dark cloud. I feel, at least this is how my guides allow me to feel. I feel like this is someone who doesn't speak the truth. They'll appease you. I'll tell you what you want to hear. It doesn't mean it's the truth. And that's probably how they'll think, like with that laugh. I'll tell them what they want to hear. It's just not the truth. Well, we now know that. That's the thing. We know that. So this is like external noise, but it does feel heavy. But it's part of that cloud. It may be a person. The the seven of swords is someone who, it's pretty easy to spot. Like they just take more than their fair share. They're like at a buffet, and there's four pieces of there's four slices of pizza left, and there you are standing there, and there they are, and they take all four and leave an empty tray and walk away with no guilt. That type of person. Now, multiply that by falling in love, because they can be very charming. That's the thing. It's almost like their craft, and it may be subconsciously. But here's the thing, I don't feel like you're going to change it. I feel like only they can change it. And you don't want to measure love against this energy. Or really what you want to think now, especially if you have emotional clarity, is okay, now I know what that energy looks like, feels like. So if I come across it again in the sun's energy, I'm going to know it. I'm going to know it. And I'm going to shut it down. Like you're just going to know it. I feel like if this has been like a repeat pattern with something or someone, it's the same thing. Like whatever needs to come to awareness comes to awareness, but it's truth. And then, it's clarity. It's also the opportunity to think about you again, your dreams, your goals, the way you want to be loved, the way you deserve to be loved. Those who take. Why do I keep giving? The hangman is seeking awareness. And I'm saying that because some of you may feel that way. Like, why don't I keep attracting that energy? Well, you may not understand your self-worth. And that may be part of the lesson. It really may not have been about the person. It might have been about the lesson. Like, like wow. It's like when I left my marriage. I look back and I thought, geez, oh man, like what was I thinking? Because it went bad right away. You know what I mean? And I was just like, what was I thinking? But I wasn't. So I was attracting that type of energy. And I got it. And it taught me. And it taught me what I don't want. And that may be the most important lesson. All right, let's go to your hopes and fears. The Three of Pentacles. It's interesting. I feel like it's like, will others see me for me? Like if I'm doing something creative, will people appreciate it the way I do it? Because there may be other people who do it, but can I be counted among the among them? The answer is not only yes, but you may stand out from the crowd, especially if you're doing something from your authentic energy. It's telling you that people will recognize it. That's really the meaning of the card, is recognition and reward. But it speaks about your individuality, and you're not meant to be anyone else. You're just not. And you've been learning. You know what I mean? So you've been evolving. And some of you, I'm telling you, I feel like as you were healing, you started to have epiphanies. And some of you, you may subconsciously wondered, well, I'd like to do that, but who's going to care about little old me? Many, the right ones. And that's what matters. The right ones. The ones who will see you and appreciate you for you. That's why. But you know what? In the Three of Pentacles, you're really doing something because it's what you want to do. Okay, let's look at the final outcome. Wow, look at that, the Eight of Wands. First of all, what I think about, I bring about. It's like the law of attraction. It's like energy must meet you where you're at. You know, it takes us right back to the Eight of Cups, like the importance of that Eight of Cups, because without it, the rest doesn't feel like it would happen. And I feel like that's exactly what your guides are trying to say. Like, we're trying to warn you of just future towers. We're really trying to warn you of your own energy and what you're accepting. You forgot who you were. It's okay. But you may have been manifesting from that energy. Now, let's lift that cloud. Let's put this in the sun's energy, where it's the energy of joy. And let's manifest from that. And let's see what that brings back. This feels life changing. It feels life changing to me. It feels life changing, but it also feels very destined. Hmm. Who knows? Maybe you were destined to do something, and maybe you could really only do it. I feel like the reason why I love doing tarot is I see my past life in the readings many times. I see the people I've dealt with, so I know the energy. And I feel like sometimes people who have been there are the best healers in however they choose to do it. But it feels like, Doctor, heal thyself first. Hmm. The Knight of Swords on the bottom of the deck. King of Pentacles underneath that. Who's that? I hate to say this, but part of me is feeling like that may be the same old, because, like, I don't want to look at it. Like, my eyes don't want to look at it because it feels like it's just the same old, but now I know that. Now I see that. I can't even lie to myself now because the truth is the truth. But I shouldn't lie to myself because you're finding yourself. You're giving yourself permission just to be you. Wow. All right. I'm going to bring the crystal vision in. I am very curious to see what they add to the reading. I know I'm reading slow, but I feel like that's the way I'm meant to read this. And I know some have clicked off because of that, or they'll leave a comment like, man, you're so slow. But, I feel like I'm just going to take it. What's that word? What's that saying? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Boy, that's not really true. Words do hurt, but like a doctor, you do become numb to it. Sometimes they become too numb to it and they forget about the patient. Hmm. Look at that. Right in your current energy. The Ace of Swords. Number one, it's like, hello, hangman, having an awakening, because this is truth. This is truth about everything. It's like, boom, there it is. Look at the roses climbing up this ace. I feel like that speaks of your potential, but not without you knowing your truth. Because I know I don't want to look at that night. I know it's just the same old. But now I see it. This is where I want my attention. It's like right now, right here. Your voice, your truth. But there are red roses. And that can speak of self love, number one. Like, you should never leave yourself out of the equation. And when you are happy, because again, this person is moving to the Nine of Cups, inner harmony. Okay. I feel like that Ace of Swords is connecting everything. Like, yes, we recognize the tower, and here's the truth of the tower, and here's the future potential of it. It's just the truth. But here's the truth of your present and your future. But it all has to start with you, because I feel like it's also about believing in yourself as it relates to putting yourself out there, let's say. I feel like with the sun's energy and the world telling you, like, it's time, I feel like whatever emerges is only beneficial. I can't guarantee like there won't be any issues, but I feel like I can see them coming and I can maybe correct that, correct it in my path before it ever turns into a tower. So I can't guarantee it's like issue free, but I can guarantee that you will be aware of it and you will have the chance to change it if, if. All right, look at that. The Knight of Pentacles. I love the Knight of Pentacles. I feel at this table, the Knight of Pentacles is your guardian angel. But this is a slow moving knight, but on purpose. This knight tells you I come at the right time, not before and not after. I may have been begging and begging for this Knight of Pentacles to come in. It may be a way to save me, but maybe the truth is I needed to save myself. And Knight's like, it wasn't the right time. And even though you feel you needed me, you didn't. You just had to look at yourself, look within yourself. It's like the light of your spirit is always within you. It's always available. But I do feel this night is like It wasn't the right time. This, especially with it following the Ace of Swords, right? Your truth, that truth, and the Sun making it very clear. Now it is time. Look at that. Ah, the Nine of Swords. But will I? The Nine of Swords speaks about a lot of worry, and it could certainly represent, like, it could potentially be changing my life, and that could be a little scary. But the Nine of Swords, the meaning of the card is unnecessary worry. So I'm worrying about something here. It doesn't really need my worry. It's not benefiting it. And this is the type of worry that your guides say, just hand it right over. Hand it over to God, right? Because it's not yours to carry. Or if you are carrying it, it doesn't feel like it benefits you. It's fear based, it's in the mind. Some of you may have had dreams knowing that something in your dream felt like was coming to completion. It may have showed in different ways, but I feel like it's like symbolic to something that just needed closure so that you can feel free. Even if love is going to be involved or is involved, I still feel free. Like I am in control of my own destiny now. And I now know that. And Knight of Pentacles, don't forget, the Knight of Pentacles, what this knight brings in is a pentacle. And this pentacle means it's coming into your physical world. So it's something or someone that's tangible, that is touchable. It feels like a blessing. It's so funny. I said a blessing for my daughter yesterday for love. And I don't know what it was. Oh, I know. I was on Joel Epstein accidentally, but it pulled me in and I was listening. And he was talking about like power of prayer. So I found myself like doing this prayer and I went very deep about the type of love that I want to see for my daughter. Like, I want this miracle and I want this person to be, you know, like to love her so deeply that she can't help love this person back. I want it to be clear. I want it to feel like a miracle so that we're aware. So, I don't know why I'm saying that. I feel like, I feel like some of your prayers are being answered. You just may not know it during your waking hours. But again, I want to tell you the importance of, for some of you, you may be like asking yourself, can I? Should I? Will I be any good? I feel like, not only do I feel old soul energy, so I feel like access in the sun's energy to not just my wisdom, but my ancestors' wisdom, the wisdom of the universe. All right. Boy, am I going slow. We just flipped around. The Unknown card. Interesting. And the Hermit in reverse. So the Hermit is a card of Virgo. For some of you, it could certainly mean that. It's interesting because in the upright, the Unknown card is the High Priestess. But this is where my intuition doesn't feel clear, like her crystal ball is clouded. Where's it going to go? Where's it going to lead? And I feel like what it's saying is you have the wisdom of the old soul of the hermit, right? Again, that light within that you could only figure out through some of these experiences. And it's like a recognition of, we know it's been hard. It's showing in reverse. And I'm feeling it twofold. I'm feeling for some of you, it's like the path is becoming clear. It's like you realizing that you carry this light. Maybe you're feeling that you were meant to do something. And, it's funny because I don't even know where I was going to take these cards, but I feel like it's the past. Because something makes you realize that I can't keep carrying this emotional weight. But it feels like it's coming from a spiritual place, like your higher self, your inner knowing. I definitely feel your spirit guides, their energy, but I feel like all they could do was put like maybe an idea behind it or kind of illuminate like that's what needs to be looked at. That's what changes everything. For some of you, I don't know, it may be goodbye to a Virgo. All right, I'm going to keep that out for a minute. I'm going to go down to subconscious mind. I'm reading it all as one, by the way. Like, this is just your story. And, I'm telling it as a story, but, remember, there's many stories within a story. Trust your intuition, is what I'm saying. Wow. Ten of Swords. So, definitely a repeat pattern. But this is you. This is you taking all these swords, one after another. This, I often feels a repeat pattern. And, sometimes you'll see the person looking at the swords like, I know they're coming. Wow, that Eight of Wands, what I think about it bring about, I feel like some of you are closing like a karmic loop. And it probably is not easy. I get it. I do get it. But is it possible? Oh, it's more than possible. It's like destined. But it's like your humanness needs to know this on a spiritual level, let's say. It's almost like, holy shit, look how much shit I've been taking. Look how much I let people put these daggers in my back for whatever reason. Somewhere along the way, you may have felt, or there could have been like, negative talk about you. Um, or it could be self-negative talk, but it can stem from like childhood. We do have mother and children. Um, but it feels like it wants to close now. It feels like that's what the world is saying. Like this is an opportunity to close and cut that karmic loop for good. for eternity. Think about that. You're doing a soul's quest through your human body. That's powerful. By the way, as I say that, I feel like some of you have just had the soul realization of, wow, I think that was one of the reasons my soul chose this lifetime and this body and these experiences. It wanted to close this karmic loop. And here I am. It's almost like you're finding yourself. Like, and here I am closing this karmic loop. It's like this self-awareness, but it brings a sense of proudness with it. But I feel like it's proudness of everyone, like your ancestors, like all those future selves that would have had to endure. Powerful. Boy, I feel like your guides really wanted to get through to you today. And I mean that in the most loving of ways. All right, let's go to the world. So this is the conscious mind. So that means that you are aware. Look at this, the Three of Swords. Okay. Well, there is the recognition of that, right? It's almost like the universe is saying, "We know you've been through this, my dear. We know that, and now we want to make it up to you." Not like in a it wasn't meant to happen. I feel like it was. Because look at the healing in the position of you. And what are you healing? Three of Swords. Why? Because the world is saying it's time to come to completion. And the world, number one is a 21, which 2 plus 1 is 3. And that is the energy of expansion, creativity, joy, celebration, individuality. And by the way, it is the Fool that stands in the middle of that portal of the world. And the Fool is the new beginning. The one who is willing to take that leap of faith and put the past in the past. It means the Fool is free and clear. I feel like that means the Three of Swords is being healed. And for some of you, it may be a loved one saying, allow yourself to heal and allow yourself to live. The Two of Wands is like you're hearing it. You're like, okay, okay. And so I am. It is like a change of energy. It is from sadness, things I couldn't control, the swords that ended up in me, how it felt like it's part of this dark cloud, but yet the world is like, and I feel like some of your loved ones are saying, let that end, live your life. And I feel like some of you are hearing that like deeply. And then the Two of Wands opening up. It's like the beginning of the next path. And it's wands. Wow. That's action. That's adventure. That's passion. It's really whatever I want it to be. especially with the sun right there alongside of it. All right, let's go down to the sun. Not down, but let's go over to the sun. Look at that. A magician. No kidding. This is the year of the magician. We are the alchemists this year. We hold that power. That Eight of Wands in your final outcome, what I think about, I bring about. Now you carry the energy of the magician in the sun's energy, the ability to manifest. It's like you are manifesting every step of the way, but you're doing it. I mean, I'm just even looking at the coloring. They're so similar. And the magician is a great mentor. The magician is a reminder to each of us that we already possess all the tools that we're going to need, and they're all within us. But look at that. I may be the only one feeling the reading this way, but holy cow. Okay. I'm going to accept that. I am, okay, I was going to say I'm going to go down to the U position where I have you healing. Um, but as I say that, like, I feel like when there's awareness, it's like, it's like realization. Look at that, the Ace of Cups. And with the Eight of Cups is Seven of Wands. So, Seven of Wands is really defensive type of energy. Whether it's your energy or it's another's. And what I mean by that is, I feel like this is the energy where someone is constantly defending themselves. It does feel like it has to do with love. I definitely feel like it belongs with the Seven of Swords energy because I feel like it may be some of you asking this person at the Seven of Swords, like, what the hell? Where you been? What you been doing? And I feel like they feel it like as, like, mm, I mean, not that it matters, but I feel like they feel it as like judgment, but in a, like, I don't know. I don't know how to say it. I just know one thing. I feel like this person is not your true love. Let me just say that. And I know some may have, and I know, listen, this is where you need to trust your own intuition and understand that everyone's path may be a little different. Though, at this, saying that, I also want to remind you, I feel like those who are here and you're feeling this, I feel like you were meant to. Okay. Okay, just say all that. I don't know. I feel like, what was I like doing? Defending myself. Why? All right. I don't even want to, but let's keep moving. And some of you may say, I don't like the person I am when I'm with you, whether it be one person or many people. Like, I don't like who I become around your energy. It's not my energy, it's your energy. Like, like you keep me in this almost like anxious type of energy. And now that I see that, I don't know. Like, in a way, I don't know whether you need to say anything. Like, if this is a phone call that I don't want to look at, I don't know that you answer the phone. Look at that. The Knight of Cups in reverse. Let me tell you, if this person contacts you again, I don't feel like it's coming from a place of true love, let's say. And don't take that personally, even though it feels very personal, because I feel like it's their incapability. It's not you, but it doesn't mean you are meant to like stay in this energy, right? Is this blocking like future love? I kind of feel like it. Why? Because again, like almost protection, like if we let come in what they're thinking, and it may be this. It's not what their soul really wants. Knight of Cups kind of backs that up. It doesn't mean that love's not coming, but it's going to be different because you're going to be different. And I hope that doesn't feel like pressure. Well, because that is certainly not the way I meant it. All right, interesting. We have the Knight of Wands came out with the Five of Swords. This is over your hopes and your fears. And I feel like it's a little both. Like, I feel like you, like in the fear department, like passion of anyone coming towards you, it probably scares you. Some of you change. But, however, you know what I want to say. I mean, look at that person. First of all, there's you with two swords in your back, and look at that person walking away. And then the Knight Wands comes out. Is this now a fear of passion? See how the past is playing a part here, right? The Seven of Swords is still part of, let's say, your decision making or even what you'll accept. And it's interesting because I all of a sudden, like, my eye was pulled down to the Three of Pentacles. And I often feel like in the Three of Pentacles, there's a secret admirer. Whether it's, I don't know, let's just leave it there. Like, I feel like there is a secret admirer, but not here. And if there's a fear of repeating, and therefore I shut it all down, which is your choice, right? It is your choice. But at the same time, no, I'm going to leave it there because I feel like your inner self will work it out. Your reading is just wow. And let me tell you something. I'll tell you the type of people that tend to want to come back as soon as where we are, like, starting to do something for us. Narcissist. Number one, people think about them first, right? Like, oh, I want to be part of what, you know, is expanding in their life. No, no, no. Simple as that. No. Sorry, I had to get a drink. I forgot about these cards. We have the Queen of Cups. I'm just going to put them here for a minute. We have the Three of Cups. Meaning of this card is a reason to celebrate. The energy of joy and celebration. It's so funny because I remember in the beginning of your reading talking about something that's even deeper than that happening for you. You want to talk about deep? Look at that. The Four of Cups, discontentment and boredom in one's emotional world. But in the Four of Cups, a cup is coming in. And although this isn't a great representation of it, you usually can see like the cup that's coming from above, like from the hand of divine. So this is about you using your spiritual discernment now. And by the way, I feel like the hangman has awakened long ago. Look at that, the Three of Wands, another three, by the way. And they're two great threes. This is optimism. This is living in the present moment, which is all your guides are asking for, right? And this is the energy of gratitude. This is being thankful for each and every little thing, and knowing and expecting that your blessings will come in their right time, right? Just like that Knight of Pentacles said. It's not that I wasn't planning on coming in. It's not that I don't see what you've been through, but that was your lesson. That was something that if I would have interrupted, I would have interrupted you, clearing karma, for eternity. I can't do that. But this is you now looking at your future like really in all that it can be. And maybe you do leave love off the table for a little while. Or maybe you don't. Maybe that cup that's coming in, I don't know. We have the Death card of Scorpio. But this is about transformation. This is about clear endings and new beginnings. It's a rebirth. It's a rebirth of you. This is your rebirth. And you know what? This is your time. And this is all under the hopes and fears category. So it's not that you're saying no to love or that type of fulfillment. I feel like you now know like what it is you do want. And I feel like you're in a different type of energy, in a different state where what you're attracting is of a much higher vibration. Why? Because now you are of a higher vibration. Your soul has had major growth. It's like light. It's like you lift to the next dimension. Okay. I'm going to pick these up and let's look at the final outcome. Hierophant. Interesting. Can be a card of Taurus, or it is a card of Taurus. Doesn't have to mean it's Taurus for you. The Hierophant wants you to question your own belief system. Ask yourself questions like, am I living my life according to my standards? Or am I lowering my vibration to live according to someone else's standards? Who are below mine, by the way. My morals, are they being met? Or do I have to cross my morals to be with another? I feel like these are questions right? Like questions within. But this, I feel like, honestly, is about a blessing because I feel like the Hierophant is about to give a blessing. But guess what? It's after a change. And by the way, it's coming over an 8, which is a new beginning. And again, the number of infinity. Like you're manifesting from the like high energy now. Hmm. We have the devil, card of Capricorn. Interesting, you have two major arcanas there. And I have to tell you, that looks like the angel on the shoulder and the devil on the other. And which one am I going to feed? Because that's the one that will grow. Do I feed the light or do I feed the shadow? The devil can speak of temptations. And that's exactly what I feel in the Seven of Swords energy. It speaks of illusions. Maybe the illusion this person was going to love me the way I wanted loved. But the truth is, maybe I didn't love myself in the way that I deserve love. And that had to be first and foremost. So I'm not even worried about, like, let's say there's a devil on your shoulder. I feel like you'll just flick it off. You'll flick it off. You'll feed the light. Some of you could simply be manifesting Taurus or Capricorn. However, that doesn't negate what I just felt. And I do feel like the Hierophant is giving a blessing. It's almost like, you know, this is extreme, and I don't mean this, but it's almost like an exorcism. But I feel like what it is like the cutting of the cords. And let's just say that may lay within your faith system. You have to believe it can be so, and it can be so. The devil would try to make you feel like it can't be so. Look at that. The Eight of Wands over the Eight of Wands. That's interesting because I feel like, I feel like you're manifesting someone back. And I feel like they put the same intention out there. That is interesting. It's interesting that I feel that, but I do. I feel like this is someone else who put out the same intention, and it feels like a blessing. All right, so I'm going to go with that for a second, and I just want to know a little bit more on that. Look at that, the Ace of Wands, passion ignited. Huh, it's go time. Here you go. This is your heart chakra being activated right on time. I feel like on a spiritual, like through a spiritual lens, it's like right on time. On an earthly sense, it may be, holy shit, what am I feeling? Wow. I feel like you should allow yourself to feel it. Because I feel like, what, like who you, like, how do I say this? Let's say what you seek also seeks you. But both of you probably have gone through similar experiences because you're both putting your intentions out there now, but in a different way. And it is like, when I say the Hierophant is about to bless you, hello, Ace of Wands. I mean, you add that to the Magician and the Sun and the World and the victory and the spiritual awareness and, your guide saying, be you and don't have any apologies for it because someone will seek you for exactly who you are and vice versa. And the Ace of Pentacles or the Ace of Wands, it's like the passion is ignited, but you do have to like reach out and take this ace. In other words, you got to say yes, whatever that may mean. So I am going to just follow it for a minute. Why wouldn't I? I know your reading is going to be long, but you know what? I feel like every turn of the card was important. Look at that. That is interesting. The Five of Cups. I'll tell you why. Five of Cups is when you're focusing on the cups that have been knocked over. This is when you are in sadness. Like, why me? Why me? But there are two cups behind this person. To me, they represent a soulmate. You haven't met them yet, or you haven't found them yet. They're there. Five. It's asking you to ask yourself, are you focusing on the cups that, and it's not a bad thing. It's just like, while you're down there focusing, can you find that emotional clarity that sets you free? And the answer is yes. Yes, I can. And what does that bring? Those two cups. Connected to that Ace of Wands. Does that feel like right timing? That feels like right timing to me. And this is all in the outcome. And for some reason, I just want to keep going. We have the Queen of Wands. Well, this may ask you to use the energy of the Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands, she's someone who she does something without apology and, maybe ask for apology later. But if it strikes a chord within her, she's going to follow it. And you look at the Magician right beside her, the soulmates on the other side, and the Ace of Wands. And just that you're moving into the Wands energy, and look at the Wands that you're getting. Okay? Anything else want to come out? I feel like we just went around the world. Look at that. Okay, but let's go ahead. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Hello, lovers. Hello, lovers. It is the card of Gemini. The meaning of the card is the head over heart decision, and that could certainly be the case. There's the Ace of Wands. There's the passion ignited. And the thing I feel with the lovers is the chemistry. And I love how they're skin to skin. Authentic to authentic energy. It certainly could be a Gemini, but I'm really feeling more it's about the type of connection. Because with that comes the Ace of Pentacles. Now, you want to talk about right timing. Here it is. right? This means the lovers is coming into your physical world, but you're calling it in, as are they. And here it is. But it had to be in the right time. It had to be. And now the timing is right. And the Ace of Pentacles to me is like a seed. I can nurture this seed and it will grow and blossom and throw off new seedlings. Yeah, it could be children for some, or it can just be new blessings, right? They just seem to follow now. You deserve it. Wow. I feel like we've just gone full circle. And guys, I think I'm gonna leave it there. Because I feel like this was long. I don't feel it. Like to me, it didn't feel long at all. Like I could keep going. But I feel like it's getting long and I want to make sure the people who are meant to hear it will hear it. I don't want time to turn them off. The part of me also feels like if you're meant to hear it, you'll hear it. It's just like if you are meant to be aware, you'll be aware. If you felt this in your soul, then you know. And let's let that be. I love you guys. I thank you. Happy birthday, by the way. February, what? Valentine's Day, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? It all begins and ends with you. But, and this is not our ending, but look at your near future. Wow. That's why I felt the energy before I even began. Okay, I'm still talking. I love you guys. I thank you. I feel like I talk so much, I lost my voice. Pray you felt this. Leave it, leave me a comment if you felt this. Soul to soul. I love you. Bye bye. Look, it doesn't want to end. I'm kidding.